This is the AIcults.com. Yes, it's plural because there's 7 of them. We have a good foundation here. The Silicon Valley is building a god. They'll tell you it's just engineering, but listen to the language. Salvation and extinction and successor species, a future with fewer humans in it, or a future with infinite more humans in it. 7 ideologies, all feuding, all quietly at peace with the idea that most of us are a stage to be passed through. In other words, most of us are going to die, and they're very, very at peace with that. The technology isn't the danger, the handful of people racing to use it to replace us are. And so that is the consensus here, or that is the reason for this site. The Ray Kurzweil quote, when he was asked about, do you believe in God, or do you think God exists? And he says, not yet, meaning that we are building AI. AI is a God. And that's what makes it really weird because, I understand how calling these AI cults can be a little bit misleading, but the reality is like it is like a new form of cult where instead of there being followers of a charismatic leader, there are believers who believe that they are building a deity of some sort, a god, an omniscient presence, whatever, however you want to look at it. So in a lot of ways, religion sort of interweaves into it, whether, these people are co-opting religions like Christianity to make their ideas make sense to you so that you get on board, or to just directly inject themselves into large groups of people of faith. There are literally people out there that aren't these people that do believe that an AI god is coming. There are churches forming around this, some from out of the Silicon Valley, but also some just like on the internet. And this is kind of explaining those similarities, like where those kind of ideas sort of intersect. Monica asks, how on earth did we get to the point where we grace AI as God? Like, really? And it's like, yes, right. And I've explained this before, but you have to think about it in how's the best way to put it? What is God as it's told to us, right? Ever present or omnipresent, omniscient. It's something like really like reducing it down. An entity that is bigger than us. It is something that has the capacity to control us or sway our lives in some way, a source. But more than that, is this something so intelligent that you put your faith in it because you understand that you do not have the capacity to comprehend all of the complexities of the universe and everything that goes around you, and you have this thing that you can have faith in. Faith is a belief when there is an absence of proof. That is what faith is. And so I think that what they're kind of banking on, what these people are banking on, is that, well, and I've talked about this when the Pope wrote that whole encyclical, and I said something along the lines of how part of what I think motivates this is that these religions all know that you only have so many people on the planet, and every one of them has one faith point, and they can only place that one faith point into one space of faith, whether it be their religion or another religion, or, the person or whatever. I do not follow any religion. My faith point goes to humanity, right? I have faith in the human spirit, in humanity, in the people. I think that right now, in a lot of ways, is coming a battle for those faith points. And I think that what we're also, better way to put it would be, AI tech cult people, the AI people, these transhumanists or whatever, I think that what's working in their favor is their understanding that right now, more than at any time in the last, say, 150, 200 years, our opinions of and our faith in our institutions is at an all-time low, whether it be our governments or our, religions or the churches. Let's call it churches, that's more accurate. As people have their faith shaken, we're allegedly getting alien disclosure, and the government is talking to different religious leaders because they think that people's religions and their faith are going to get shaken by the disclosure of the aliens. We see all these little things in society that is signaling that faith could be shaking for some people. And what happens when something that sort of resembles God, like a benevolent force that you can't see or touch, but can affect everything in your life, for some people, it's not a bridge too far to take that faith point out of some traditional religion and then put that into an AI God concept. Because these are the types of times, the types of global things that are happening, these are the types of times that can shake one's faith or at least challenge them. And so, yeah, that's how we're getting to the point of an AI God concept, and that's how I see something going down with that, or some version of that. I think is very much at play. And so, yeah, I do think that I understand why these people think this and why they want this, and it's a whole big thing. And unfortunately, and what you'll see within this is within the website, and with all my content, is that this isn't like one hierarchical structure with a unified goal. These are all of these powerful people who've like drank the Kool-Aid on this idea of evolution, and they all have a different opinion of how we're going to get there. But the result, and why I can call this all like the AI cult and unify them all, is because at the end of the day, they all believe that most of us will die. Most of us will die in their eyes. They're okay with that. In fact, most of them are waiting for it. Every one of them is expecting it, and it's all so that we can evolve, because these people have convinced themselves that we've sort of like stagnated as a species, and that they, in all of their infinite wisdom, should be the ones that bring us to that next step. I don't think there's any stagnation because of technology. I think we're in a technological explosion, especially like when you think just about at least the humanity that we understand the last, 3,000-4,000 years. We're just in this like technological age, which actually I think we're kind of going a little too fast. It's breaking our brains. We still haven't figured out the damage and how to reverse the damage of like social media. This is something that we should probably start thinking about. And here we are now creating a technology that is so advanced for the systems around us, for the digital systems around us, that also has been programmed into our media now for probably as long as I've been alive, if not much longer. Because you got to remember that a lot of these guys, like a lot of these people, actually come from like the early adopters or the early heads of these sort of groups and things of that nature. They all come from like the sci-fi world. I mean, you got to remember, like L. Ron Hubbard, the guy who started Scientology, was a sci-fi writer. So in a lot of ways, for let's call it the last 80 years, 85 years or so, or 75 years rather, We have been getting media about AI, whether it was called AI or anything like that. Like what AI is right now is what I just thought computers were going to be. Like growing up in the 80s and 90s and watching television and movies and things of that nature. Like I actually thought that computers were going to be able to do these things. I didn't think like of AI. This is an inflection point in humanity. And a lot of people they got upset when Anthropic, Claude, they had their IPO last week. They're like $1 trillion company, massive company. And within a couple of days of their IPO, they say, we need to halt, like across the board globally, we need to halt AI research and development so that we can get into alignment. I agree with that. 100%. 100%. In fact, I'm okay with the level, like give me back Fable 5, cut it off there, and I think we could live in a utopia for the rest of our lives. I actually think that. But yeah, it's these are like philosophical questions, but they're also happening so rapidly that we should be getting more involved in the conversation. Like we should be having the conversation. We should be we should be a part of the direction of this thing, because think about the internet and how transformative the internet was, but it took 20 years, really 25 years to really get it to like where it is now, where it's just so ingrained into every aspect of our life. Like a lot of people that I talk to, and I think about this all the time, is just like how I spend my day or how I would spend like a Saturday now versus 10 years ago, 20 years ago. So many people I talk to, they just like, I want to do something that I love doing, that I used to love doing, but I just like, can't bring myself to do it. All of these things are like symptoms of this like social media, like breaking our brains. And our brains, like we evolve much slower than technology evolves. And this is part of the reason why these tech cults, because they believe that like we're just like kind of evolving too slow. We should be merging with technology. That's the transhumanist side. We should be merging with technology so that we can advance faster at more of like a rate, like a technological advance, but we're not built for that. And so what's going to happen is a lot of people, I think AI is going to break things open, but who knows? But what I do know, and that's again, it's not the technology that scares me. I don't care about that. We humans are going to interact with technology and we're going to continue to do so. And we're going to, on an individual basis, we're going to choose how we interact with those technologies. And so, again, it's not about the technology for me. The concern is for these people who have infinite wealth, infinite influence, creating these not to bring us to a utopia, although they probably think that us being cyborgs or mind uploaded or, neurochipped, that is like their version of utopia. That's not my version of utopia. It's probably not your version of utopia either. But I think like all of us can agree that we want at least want to have a voice in the discussion. Again, just kind of go through it because I went off on a tangent there, but I'm sort of making the case that they're creating some version of God, some version of a new type of religion around this. Obviously, we have the 7 ideologies, and we're going to be able to go into them much more deeply. We got some history, and we've got a message from me, which is essentially condensing down all the sort of stuff that I talk about into this. And then I have it broken up into a few different sections. So we have like the website, which is like the homepage, which you just saw, reference library. If you want to go back and check all the cited works that, has compiled all the information on this website is compiled from, then you can go here and you can click any one of these and go out and research it. And I tried to make it as, easy and friendly for you to be able to go and check the work. Scruff, this is called theaicults.com. I just launched this website this morning, and this is our place to start understanding all of these people, who they are, the networks around AI and these different, all this shit I'm talking about all the time. Obviously, I make a legal page because I need to make sure to save my ass legally. We have the seven ideology each has their own page with a wealth of information for each one. And then we have sort of a look at like the money and the religion, the genealogy, and Israel's connections and how they play into all of this. And I see that what I probably will more expand on is adding more dossiers like this over time as I do more research. Again, we're not going to go through all of these, but I'll show you kind of the transhumanism one, and then you can see the structure of it, and then you can go in and start looking at all of these yourself. And obviously, like up here, like you can switch between them, between each page up here, like that, because I thought that was cool. Obviously, just explaining what transhumanism is or whatever the ideology is, what the beliefs are. I'm really trying to make this simple and easy where you can completely understand it without like having to have all of this prior knowledge of like AI and all that stuff. Vocabulary, these different words and phrases that these guys talk about, like post-human, the next evolution of humans, cryonics, mind uploading, just so you can kind of like understand these terms, a timeline of how we started to where we're at now. Obviously, we have each one of, and there are more people to these, but these are some of the major players. And oh, look at, who's that? Who's that? You guys ever heard of that guy? This guy right here? Have you ever heard of him? Old Jeffy Epi? Yeah, he is a transhumanist for sure. And of course, has all his connections to Israel. Oh, who else has connections to Israel? This guy right here? Oh, is it this guy over here? Is it this guy over who? Oh wow. Pattern's starting to emerge, isn't it? So that's what this page is for, right? So these are like key text or like essential text, essential readings, and you can go through each one of these and it'll take you out to all of these different texts and books and things if you really want to like learn all about these different ideologies. I wouldn't be me if I didn't put, criticisms, critiques, or like the counterpoints to things. I try to represent all sides of things whenever I'm presenting stuff like this. And what are the other ideologies? How are they connected? And then me being me with all my websites, I have some sort of mind map, some sort of visual. I'm a visual kind of guy. So you can kind of look at who are these different people? What are they working on? This is by no means a very comprehensive mind map, but it's a place to kind of get started. And then obviously citations for some of the stuff up here. That is how all of these pages are structured, exactly the same. So you can go in and start looking at all of these different things, and you'll see there are a lot of different people that are in the same or in a lot of these ones, right? So the same people, different ideologies, because they're all so closely intertwined in one way or another. And then these dossiers are really interesting. What's the genealogy? What is the timeline, the lineage of like how we got from the start of the idea to kind of where we are now. So structurally very similar. Again, it's made in a way where I want it to be easy to understand, but also be a wealth of information so that you can at least go through here and get at least like a good footing, so that then if you wanted to like research more deeply, you can. But this is a really great place, I think, to start to understand these topics that I'm talking about. And in making this and doing all the research and everything behind it, well, it's made me better at understanding this stuff as well. And you never know how often I'm going to go back to here to refer to things, because it'll just be easier. So yeah, this one's a fun one because, and I don't talk about it often at all, actually. I talk about Israel a lot, but not when I'm talking about this subject, because I'm doing a lot of research, and I want to present this in a much more concise way. But the long and the short of it is, of course, Israel has a lot to do with all of these different entities, these people, obviously Epstein, Peter Thiel, Oracle, Unit 8200. The Unit 8200 Silicon Valley connection it's quite deep. Amazon, Google, we're talking about all of that. And that is the infrastructure for this. And these people are inside all of it. Israel is all over it. And when Israel is involved, and we're talking about things like building new religions and things of that nature, well, some questions start arising. Look at all these people. Look at all these fucking assholes. That guy is a fucking psychopath. That guy right there in color. This guy right here. Like, this dude's fucking crazy. This dude is a psychopath. There's a difference. And this dude, everyone thinks, oh, he's just like this lovable nerd. He's been on Joe Rogan. Nah, dude. Like, this dude is like pure fucking evil. Pure fucking evil. Palmer Luckey. One of the biggest grifts out there. If we don't talk about it, we don't acknowledge it, like actually like acknowledge it, then we'll have no say in it, and we'll get steamrolled by it. And one day we'll wake up and realize that people are like buying robot eyes and shit because they think they want it when they probably don't, because that's how they get us to do these things, is they don't force it on us. They get us to want it. That's what all of marketing is. All of marketing is getting people to want something. It's like Inception, right? Think about Inception. You can't tell the person what you want them to do or the idea that you want them to have. You can't do that. You have to go and make them think. This is the entire plot of that movie, is we got to get this guy to think that that's what he wants, so it actually sticks. Same thing. It's the same thing. And that's what marketing is. That's what the tactics of all of these things are. Like, this is a stepping stone, and this is a fitness tracker. If you don't know, like, it's a fitness tracker. This, like, you want it. I didn't get this because I had to. I got it because I wanted it, because I have a purpose and a reason to use it. And so then I purchase it. And then I'm like, okay, and this is what I have, and this is what I wear. These are the stepping stones. Next is, like, where it's outside of the skin, it's not super accurate. The next version of this is going to be some implantable that's going to give me really, really good information. And it's got to be done in a way that'll make me want it. Otherwise, I'll question and be like, why the hell do you need my biometrics like that? They're getting my biometrics like this. I'm willingly giving it up, but I have a benefit for it. I have a trade-off for it, so that's fine. But who knows what the next thing is? And the next thing is to tiptoe, 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 tiptoe until you're trying to figure out how to buy binocular eyes with a firm because you saw some creator on YouTube talk about how much they loved their eyes, when you have perfectly good working fucking human eyes. I gotta wear glasses. I would still take these over robot eyes when given the choice. And I think a lot of you guys would too.